Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we're going to go through my August TBR. I'm really excited for a lot of these stories. I have two arcs that I want to read this month. It's a little ambitious. I probably will only end up reading one of them, but I'm excited about both. So I'm hoping because of the excitement, I will end up getting to both of them. They are also both kind of spooky reads, and I have a couple other spooky season reads that I want to get to as well. I didn't do that on purpose. They just happen to be books that I know I have coming up on my holds, and I can get access in the month of August. I'm looking forward to reading them. So I'm getting into the fall vibes a little early, but that's okay. I do also have several series on this list that I'm planning on continuing this month that I am excited for as well. Moving closer and closer towards my series goals for the year, and all of these are definitely books that I am just bursting at the seams to get to. So we will start with my norm and talk about the book that I will be reading physically this month, and it is one of my arcs because I have both of them. So I'm actually reading two books physically if I get to both of them. The first one, the one I am prioritizing because it comes out in August, is Any More Questions for the Corpse. This book, first off, the cover is why I decided to request this. It immediately caught my eye, but when I read the synopsis, I just can't get it out of my head. It is about a necromancer who was raised by two skeletons, and they really want nothing to do with their powers. They don't like necromancy, and they would kind of like to just forget about it and let their powers go by the wayside, but they get pulled into a serial murder investigation that the detectives want them to use their ability to talk to the dead to try and figure out what's happening in their little community that they have, and I'm curious about it. The other arc that I have is called The Henchperson's Guide to Unionizing, and oh friends, I think this sounds like a wild and kind of quirky ride. We have three main characters who are all the henchmen or henchpersons of various beings, and I don't want to say literary figures because they don't give names to all of them, but one of them is Igor, who is Frankenstein's sidekick. One of them is a witch's familiar, and it is a cat who I'm assuming talks. And then one of them is the vampire bride of a vampire who's not named as Dracula, but I don't know if we're going to get those vibes or not. And all of them are living in the same house together because of circumstances you learn. And they decide to go against the people they have been working with all this time because they didn't realize that their quote-unquote masters are trying to end the world. And they quite like the world and don't want it to end. And so they've decided to come together to try and save the world that they like. I think it sounds like fun. A little bit of a quirky time. It talks about how the villagers that live next door, you know, have their pitchforks ready to go. I think it sounds like it will be goofy and a good way for me to dip my toe into some autumnal reads. Next, I have a buddy read that I will be reading with Tennille, and I'm very excited about this because, guys, I have never read a book by Kate Elliot, and Tennille was lovely and reached out and asked if I would like to read The Witch Roads together, and I'm excited about this. This is, I don't know a ton about it, but I know we have a courier who has been tasked with leading this kind of arrogant prince through the witch roads, and it's very dangerous. They end up getting into a lot of trouble because they won't listen to the courier because she is a lower class than the prince and his entourage, and so some things start going awry. I don't know where it's supposed to go from there, and like I said, I haven't read a lot into it, but I love the cover. It definitely reminds me a little bit of like the Wizard of Oz vibes, and with the Witch Road, us having this like path, this quest that we have to go on to help this prince through an area that is quite dangerous. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Next, I have another buddy read, and this one is with Leandra and Victoria from Victoria Masters. And with this, we are going to be continuing our buddy read of the Children of Time series with Children of Strife. We've read the entire series together, and so it's very fun for us to be able to come back together and read the most recent release, which came out this year. I can't remember when. It was earlier this year. And if you haven't heard of Children of Time, I can't really explain each book or what this particular story will be about. The first one, which is Children of Time, features you have dual timelines where a world is being terraformed by an experiment that humans have put on where they are supposed to put this virus into the world with monkeys, and it ends up landing on a different life form instead. And so then the other timeline, you actually get to see the evolution of what happens on the world that they were trying to terraform. I should say one timeline focuses on what's happening to humanity, like throughout the years that leads to this civilization that has evolved from these experiments in humankind. It's so much more than that. I've really enjoyed every single book. Every single book features kind of a different, I don't want to say being, but like a different world and different issues within that world. And I've really, really enjoyed the series, and I can't wait to get to, I don't know if this is the final book in the series or if I'll just be caught up, but either way, I'm happy to get to it. And being that we were talking about series, let's just go ahead and talk about all the series continuations that I have this month because there are a lot. The first one is the Blackfire Blade, which is the sequel to The Silver Blood Promise, which I read a couple of months ago. I'm really, really enjoying the world that was created in the first book. We're following our main character, Logan, whose father was murdered, and he gets sent on a quest to try and figure out who murdered his father and why. And in the midst of doing that, he gets pulled into these really dangerous city politics, and he is trying to help the city at large, but it puts himself and some other people who have been helping him along the way in a lot of danger. And so this second book, we are still following his journey and trying to figure out what happened to his father. And I'm sure that more crazy antics are going to pop up and arise throughout his struggles to try and solve this mystery. Next, I have Ancillary Mercy, and this will finish out a series for me. It is the first trilogy in the universe of the Ratch, and this follows Ancillary Sword. The first book in the series is Ancillary Justice, where you're following an ancillary unit, which is an AI of sorts that was once 1,000 different bodies, all that were a specific ship, and they lived and served the Ratch, the Empire of the Ratch. And because of things that happen within that first story, you have a singular unit, and you follow that singular unit in the first story as well. There's a dual timeline there where you get the past and the future. And the future timeline is the singular unit that is left after events. And you get to figure out, first off, all of the different components of the Ratch, what it means to be in the Empire of the Ratch, how they have established their rule over so many different worlds, and what it means for Breck as an ancillary unit who has the body of a human, which you learn about throughout the story. I don't think I'm explaining that series well, but I really enjoyed Ancillary Mercy or Ancillary Sword, which I picked up last month kind of on a whim, and I want to get back into Ancillary Mercy immediately because I had forgotten how much I really enjoyed the storytelling that Leckie has. I have loved everything. Every single book that I've picked up by Leckie, which right now it's only 3 books, but every single one of them I have really, really enjoyed. And so I think that with this particular series, I am just going to enjoy it and enjoy it more because I have more and more information. So that's my hope, is that this series is going to end on a bang. And speaking of ending on a bang, I also have the last book in the Innkeeper Chronicles to read. This is called Sweep of the Heart, I believe. And this is the series that I have just been shouting from the rooftop for all of you guys throughout the entire year because it has gotten me out of multiple slumps. And I just have really loved it. It's about an innkeeper who her inn is a safe haven for all of alien kind, and Earth has a contract with all of these aliens to make sure that the humans don't actually know that extraterrestrial life exists, and that is one of her missions, is to make sure that these aliens do have a safe haven, but that all of the humans on Earth are kept ignorant of their existence, but also safe from all of these aliens. You have vampires in this, werewolves, you have just aliens in general. There's so many really cool beings that Ilona Andrews has put together for this. And the cast of characters that we follow in the inn, Dina is the innkeeper, but you also have a cast that you join and it grows throughout your reading of the series. I really loved it. And I'm kind of sad that it's the end of the series, but I can always reread it. And I am looking forward to figuring out what I'm assuming is going to be the end of the through line that has been throughout the entire series. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because spoilers, but I'm looking forward to seeing this one through. And the last of my series continuations is a horror read, and this is The Lady in Chains. This is the second book in the How to Survive Camping series. The first book is The Man with No Shadow, which I read last month or the month before, and I absolutely loved it. I think that the series is fantastic, and I know that the third book is coming out later this year, and so I would like to be prepared for that. If you haven't heard of How to Survive Camping, it's literally about a campground that has been around for, and it's not just a campground, it's land, and it's old land. It's been around for hundreds of years, and one family has owned it. And now it's a campground. People can come in. You have the main character who is the campground runner, or she is supposed to keep everyone safe. So she's creating this guidebook, and that's what you're reading. She's telling you all of these different stories about these creatures who live in the campground and what you are allowed to do, who you are allowed to interact with, what you need to do in order to survive. And throughout this, you get to hear about her family's history, as well as all of this crazy folklore within the town and the campground. And I just really loved it. All of the creatures and the spooky, it definitely feels like someone's just telling you a ghost story, that you're sitting around the campfire and listening to someone tell you all of these tales. Oh, it's such a fun time, and I can't wait to continue the series. The next couple of books that I have for you guys are really just for fun. I don't really have any other plans for these. And the first one that I'm going to mention is one that I don't actually know if I should be reading because it is a companion series to two other series and it's set in the middle. So I don't know if it's going to matter that I'm reading them out of order, but I'm going to do it anyway because who cares? So I'm going to try it. It's called The Laws of Witchcraft, and it is drawing me in because it's historical, it's a mystery, and it's fantasy. And so I want to see where that goes. It also is featuring a centuries-old book on witchcraft that two magicians have gone to. I think they go to like an estate sale, and that's where they find this book. They win the bid and get the book in their possession, but it is quickly stolen from them. They realize that it has something to do with these abductions that are happening in the city as well, and so they have to solve the mystery of who stole the book and why certain people in the city are being abducted in order to get the book back. It has something to do as well, like the book that they're trying to get has something to do with the creation of a glass library, which is one of the other series. It's the series set after this one. And I mean, I love a book about a library. It reminds me, and I have not read the synopsis, so take this with a grain of salt. It's literally just the name. The Invisible Library series, which I just finished this year, and I'm looking for kind of not a replacement series, but a series that I can read in lieu of having that series on my TBR. So maybe this Glass Library series would give me that. But I'm going to read this book. I think there's a duology in this little series in the middle. I'm going to read this one first because they're really short. And, you know, if I spoil myself for the first series, who cares? It'll be fine. And the last book on my TBR is a book by Megan O'Keefe, who is an author that I've wanted to read from again. I've read one book by her and I really enjoyed it. And I want to get to this series. It is Velocity Weapon, and it features two siblings, I believe, a brother and a sister, and one of them ends up 230 years in the future after, so I think they were originally involved in their kingdom's politics. One of them was on a weapons ship, so I'm assuming they're kind of a fighter, and then another one was more of a political intrigue type person, I think. And the person who's on the weapons ship ends up being attacked and their weapons ship is destroyed, and they wake up 230 years later in the future where everything is gone, everyone they know, the society is gone, and they're on another warship that is led by an AI named Bureau. I'm pretty sure that was their name. And they have to figure out what happened. It also talks about how the brother and sister have to work together to kind of put things back in place. So I don't know if there's going to be some time traveling components in this as well, since one of them stayed behind. I don't know. I'm curious, and I've heard really good things about the series. So it is one that I've wanted to get into for a while, and I'm finally going to take a leap. And those are the 10 books that I will be reading in the month of August. I know I will probably throw in some other books here and there just because I always do, but so far I'm really excited about this TBR. I have a lot of authors that I have read from in the past that I've had really great success with, and a few newbies that I am really excited to get to. So let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought, or if you have a book that you're really excited to get to in August. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you aren't feeling chatty, but you still want to let me know that you're here, leave me your favorite autumnal emoji. I know that it's not autumn, but so many of these books remind me of spooky season, and I'm just getting in the vibe. So I want to see all of the spooky emojis, the autumnal emojis in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!